Brighton 0, Wolves 0, and I think a lot of Wolves fans will be satisfied with that point. Away from home against a really good Premier League team, considering some of the players that we've got out injured at the moment or out suspended and out on international duty, it's not an awful result for Wolves. Of course, positives, some negatives as well, which we'll talk about. But do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below if you managed to watch the video today. Wolves starting with the team that I predicted on the preview as well, with Jose Sarr starting in goal. The back five with Dawson coming back in alongside Kilman and Totti, Semedo and Doc at left wing back. The midfield two of Tommy Doyle and Mario Lemina, and a front three of Cunha. Neto returning to the starting lineup and Pablo Sarabia. And it took Wolves a long time, I feel, to sort of really grow into the game. I say that, one of our better chances, 10 seconds into the game, we created a chance really, and it was a shot on target by Sarabia. A clear intent to try and make something happen immediately in the game. It was a really nice move, and you could see that potentially working in the future as well. But Brighton had a lot of the ball, a lot of the possession, which we sort of expected really. That was always going to be the plan. I think away at Brighton, they're such a good team at the moment, and under Zerbi have made life very difficult for other teams going to the Amex. They score goals there, so huge plus that we've kept a clean sheet today. But we allowed them to have a lot of the ball, and Wolves really struggled to retain possession. The second and third ball, distributing it from the back at times was a little bit tricky. But I always felt that Brighton just, all it took was one misplaced pass or a poor pass, and Wolves are in there. And we did see that once or twice. Neto, we've had first big chance of the half really, where he drives down that the right hand side and cuts back in past Dunk, and a shot from range which goes just wide. It was a really decent effort on goal. And, it was back and forth. At times it was a bit of a basketball match, but Brighton were always going to have more of the ball. It was just up to Wolves to sort of stay disciplined and resolute at the back and try and catch Brighton on the counter-attack. Both teams have seen, both teams scoring in both games. Both teams are open and have been open throughout this Premier League season. But it was important for Wolves today to stay quite tight, and that's really what we did. The sort of one of the bigger talking points throughout the first half was the sort of the bookings and so on. Wolves had a counter attack on the left hand side where Cunha was taken out on the halfway line by Billy Gilmore. For me, that was frustrating because the referee could clearly see what had happened, or at least one of the linesmen or fourth official would have seen what happened. And when you see the replay, Gilmore is looking back at Cunha to see where he is and purposely stops him from breaking forward. For me, that's a professional foul and should be a booking straight away. So the referee has a word of him. Even VAR have checked it and nothing's given. So I don't think it's an elbow. It's not a sending off, but definitely, for me that's a bookable offence. Cunha does the exact same thing, and I think it was on our attack again. And Cunha gets booked, and obviously for whatever reason he's lost his head, and I think a lot of Wolves fans are worried at that point that he may have overstepped the mark and got a second booking. Obviously would have then been banned for the Black Country Derby. But I think Wolves were more frustrated at the end of that first half with the lack of consistency from the referee. I think Dawson left one in on Gilmore, but again Gilmore reacted, which Zerbi wasn't happy with what Dawson had done. So the referee really lost a little bit of control towards the end of the first half. But it showed how much character Wolves have got, because we could have gone into that second half and completely lost our head. But Cunha really should have probably put us ahead right at the start of the second half. Brighton's kick-off, we win possession back again. Neto down the right-hand side, causing all sorts of trouble all game. It's fantastic to see him back, continuing the level that he has been at, really, and playing the ball into Cunha. His first shot he saved by Steele. His second shot off the rebound is just over the bar. He sort of pokes at it and unfortunately goes over the bar. Big chance for Wolves to take the lead there. And then we had a little bit more control of the game, I felt. Obviously, the possession was always going to be in Brighton's favour, but in terms of chance creation, a lot of it, once again, was coming through Pedro Neto, who, every time, to be fair to him, was very unselfish. Wanted to always cross it back in towards the area. He had one where it sort of went towards goal and Steele had sort of managed to tip it round tip it wide. But for me, I think Neto, once or twice, could have easily opened his body up and had a go himself. Maybe gone a little bit more selfish. There was an opportunity in the first half where it's on his left foot and he tries to whip it back in. For me, open your body up and aim even near post or far post. A little bit, I know the angle was a bit tighter, but a little bit like the Luton one where he just smashes it near post. And I think Steele wouldn't have expected it once or twice tonight. But like I said, Neto, very unselfish at times. There were other times where there wasn't the right men in the box. But ultimately, Wolves and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to the lads we've got on the bench. I don't think Wolves had the firepower on the bench today. I didn't see a footballer on that bench today that I thought, you can come on, you're going to flip this game on its head. I like Bellegarde a lot. I think, he can make a difference. But other than that, I really didn't see it. In the end, we saw Tawanda Chirewa come on, which again is a huge moment for him. His first Premier League appearance for the Wolves since joining from Ipswich. I even felt maybe even Nathan Fraser for the last 5 minutes or so. And no, against Brentford, it was a slightly different game in the FA Cup because Wolves had a lot of the ball in the Brentford final third. Today was different, but I still felt Nathan Fraser, even if it was for Neto or even Cunha earlier on, maybe 5 to 10 minutes ago, he can hold up the ball. And if you get a chance within that 12-yard box, I think he's gonna put it into the back of the net. And he's got that momentum from Tuesday night's game. Obviously, Gary O'Neill thought different to me. We may well see him at West Brom on Sunday as well. But I think that you look at that bench, and of course, we've got 3 or 4 players out on international duty right now. But for me, I look at that bench and it's screaming out for 1 or 2 more players before the deadline. We've got just over a week or so to go, so there's plenty of time to do it. And I think Wolves will want to get players out, such as Johnny, off the wage bill, and we can maybe revisit that time. But ultimately, like I said at the start of the video, Brighton score a lot of goals at home. I think it's the first time in a long time that they haven't scored at home, so full credit for Wolves for that. They had to be, they had to concentrate and be very resolute defensively, and they were today. Felt the distribution from the back, Sarr as well, could have been better. You look at the sort of contrast between the distribution from Luke Steele, and I think we said this at the start of the season when they came to Molyneux. You look at the distribution comparison, between the 2 keepers, and it is vast. But we had to concentrate at the back. Dawson coming back in after a couple of games off isn't easy, and he did what he needed to do, and ultimately it sets us up with a decent little result. Another point on the board in the Premier League, another clean sheet, and it puts us onto a massive Black Country derby on Sunday, guys, away at West Bromwich Albion. Do let me know your thoughts. I'm sure there's going to be loads of content. We'll have a podcast out this week. Hopefully 1 or 2 transfer updates. Hopefully a West Bromwich Albion preview as well. And the fans react after this game. Be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, guys. And I'll see you all very, very soon.